Hello guys, welcome back to Stuffy's Life YouTube channel. This is the Prismatic weapon preview for StuffyCraft SMP Season 3. Now StuffyCraft SMP releases on my main channel, StuffyPack537, so definitely go check all of that out if you haven't already. And Season 3 will be releasing pretty soon. So these previews are just going to showcase things that will be in Season 3. We've already done a preview for the Witherstorm, and now I'm going to do a preview for the Prismatic weapons that we are going to code into Season 3. So I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so these are the 3 Prismatic weapons that will be in StuffyCraft SMP Season 3. Now, we obviously have our Prismatic Trident, our Prismatic Sword, and our Prismatic Mace. This was the first concept for these weapons. So this wasn't the final thing that we were going to do. But these are very similar to our final product that we are looking at right now. So essentially, there are 3 people who will have each of the weapons. And this plays into what we want Season 3 to kind of be about. So essentially, we have the Witherstorm. We've already shown that in previous previews. And to actually spawn or summon the Witherstorm, someone would need to collect all 3 Prismatic weapons. So the only person that can get a Prismatic weapon is a Prismatic weapon wielder. So, for example, if I had the Prismatic Trident and I killed someone with a Prismatic Sword, they would drop the sword. And you're probably like, okay, well, when you kill someone, they drop things anyway. Well, actually, for Season 3, they will be keep inventory. So everyone keeps their inventory because we also are looking at a lifesteal concept for Season 3. And we thought it's too much of a punishment if you die because you lose your stuff, plus you lose lives. So we want to keep inventory, but if a Prismatic weapon wielder kills someone else with a Prismatic weapon, they will drop that Prismatic weapon. So we have that kind of going on there. And essentially someone would need to collect all 3 Prismatic weapons to summon the Witherstorm. Now this is very similar to Ninjago Dragon's Rising Season 3, where you would need to find 5 Prismatic Blades to free a dragon called Thunderfang. That is actually what we wanted to do for Season 3 initially, or at least what I wanted to do, was to have Thunderfang. We wanted a storm sort of vibe going on, but it was too hard to code in an entire dragon in just a couple months into Minecraft. Plus do the blades, plus do lifesteal. It was a bit too much. So we just settled on the next best thing, which was the Witherstorm, because Thunderfang and the Witherstorm share similar elements where they're storm based essentially, and they also work on souls, because in Ninjago, Thunderfang can absorb souls, and is held by prismatic steel chains, which is made out of soul energy, and the Witherstorm is made out of soul sand, and you can kind of see the connection there. So I think having the Witherstorm as a replacement for Thunderfang is kind of perfect. It's really perfect. So, and how would that work essentially? So you would have the 3 blades, and there are 3 indestructible blocks in Minecraft. So once you get all blades, you can mine these indestructible blocks. It will be in a specific location in the world, like a little chamber that we create. And in the center of the chamber, there is a command block. And obviously you would need the command block to summon the Witherstorm. So essentially you would need to get all 3 blades to get the command block to summon the Witherstorm. So that's what we're kind of going for. You can also see in the concept what the weapons are going to look like and what kind of abilities they will have. This does change. This was only like an early concept for them. After talking with Sharks6763, who is on the StuffyCraft SMP, he joins in Season 2. We decided to change a couple things about this, because Sharks actually is doing the coding. He's doing the lifesteal coding, he's doing the Witherstorm coding, and he's doing the Prismatic weapon coding. I was just doing the 3D models, which I will show you in a second. So yeah, we did come up with different abilities for this, and I will show you the new abilities that we've come up, and I will show you the 3D models for these weapons. So let's get into that. So this is the Prismatic Trident. This is on Blockbench. Blockbench is heavily used for Minecraft models. And yeah, so it does look a bit different from the concept art, but this is kind of what the final product will look like. So we can kind of see we've got some bends here. I was not so sure if I should do that, but I think it turned out pretty nicely. Also, these red things. So my color would be red, and we have this. The other prismatic things have different colors, and you'll see that in a second, but this is kind of what we're going for with this. So this is red here, and then we have the little handle that my character will be holding, and then this is supposed to represent the prismatic steel. This is the best way I could have done prismatic steel. I might be able to do something a bit different. I am looking at how I can do the prismatic look, or at least texture a bit better. But this is what I was able to do for the trident, and I think it came out pretty well actually. Let me go to the prismatic axe. This one looks really nice. I really do love the shaping with this, and we can kind of see like these similar like elements like here and here, and then here and here, but this is orange. Yeah, and I just love the way that this looks, with that little bit sticking out, and the handle. I think the handle I just might do a bit more texturing on, but for the most part this looks really beautiful. And then we get to the prismatic mace, which took quite a while to do. It isn't perfect. You can kind of see some of these stick out further than the other, but this came out really nice. So we also have these little square elements here and here. These are a bit different though. So basically the concept for the prismatic mace is that it will be your standard Minecraft mace, but it will have a feature to become a flail on a chain. Now, I was talking to Sharks about this. He loved the idea. I think this is going to be a really good idea. But the problem is the coding, because it is really hard to get the animation to make this thing swing like a flail. But I think we might just have to get rid of the chain and just have the ball on the hilt right here. Yeah, so that was it's a bit complicated to do, but it will still have the mace where we want the mace to, like, all of its abilities. I think we can keep the abilities, but it just won't look like this. But I think this turned out really great. I love the purple. It looks so nice with the prismatic steel elements. But these are all the prismatic weapons. Obviously there's still more work than I'm going to do on these, but this is what we've come up with for the most part. And I think it looks really great. So then we get into importing it into Minecraft. Now this was kind of a struggle. So I gave Shark some of the files, and he imported it into his Minecraft world, and we're gonna check that out right now.
All right. It's glitching a bit.
Yeah, so the importing didn't really work as planned, but we will fix that a bit later down the line. Anyway, so these are the new abilities for each of our weapons. So here we got the trident. I'm just going to read out everything. So the trident, it will be unenchantable, have infinite durability, and plus 13 attack damage. Then its enchants will have channeling 1, impaling 5, loyalty 10, riptide 10. I will explain how loyalty and riptide work in a second. The status effects. So the status effects only apply to me when I hold the trident. So if it's like not in my hand or my offhand, then I just don't get the effects. So we have the conduit power 5, so only in rain or underwater, obviously. We have resistance 3, which is only in rain or underwater, and we have swiftness 3, so that does not apply in rain or underwater. That's just everywhere, just swiftness, because, well, swiftness doesn't even work underwater, so, like, yeah. And then the special abilities. So if we hold the trident in my offhand, it summons lightning wherever I hit, so I can literally just hit anything anywhere, like even in the air, and it just summons lightning where I hit, essentially. If I crouch, it turns the trident into a shield, sort of, so I can protect myself. Then if I hold the trident in my regular hand, I use loyalty, but if I hold it in the other hand, in my offhand, then Riptide applies. So that's kind of how that works. So main hand is Loyalty, offhand is Riptide. And that's basically the entire trident. It doesn't really seem that overpowered if you compare it to the other weapons, but it does become really overpowered underwater. So let's look at the next weapon, which will be the axe. So the axe, so it is unenchantable, has infinite durability, and plus 16 attack damage. Its enchantments are Fire Aspect 5, Knockback 2, and Looting 5. The status effects, only when it's held, is Fire Resistance, Resistance 1, and Swiftness 3. And its special abilities, it can launch a player into the air, so 11 blocks into the air, and only does 2 attack damage to that player that gets launched. And if you you can also shoot fireballs from it, so like the trident can shoot lightning, this can shoot fireballs, although they're not going to be explosive fireballs because that would be way too overpowered. But that's basically the axe. It looks like it's less than the trident, but if you really compare everything, and some of the trident's effects only work underwater, the axe is pretty OP, especially in places like the nether and stuff, because I mean you have fire resistance. So yeah, that's the axe. Now our next weapon will be the mace. Okay, so here is our mace. So the mace, obviously unenchantable, infinite durability, and only 8 attack damage. Now that is very weak compared to the other two, but you'll see the other like abilities that the mace has that makes it overpowered. So it has Windburst 5, Density 5, and Breach 4. So yes, it does have Density and Breach together, which is insanely overpowered. That's why it only has 8 attack damage. Now we have Jump Boost 3. Now obviously with the mace, can you imagine Jump Boost 3 coupled with the mace and Density 5, Breach 4? That's already insane. That's why the attack damage is only 8. We also have Resistance 2 and Swiftness 3. Now its special abilities. So I did mention the flail earlier, so if you hold it in the offhand, it will become a flail. It will launch you 3 blocks in any direction you look. When you let go of the use button, it cannot be used in the air or underwater. Didn't put that underwater part here. If you hold it for 5 seconds, it will automatically launch you. So the mace physics apply in all directions. So basically, with the mace, if you fall down, you do extra damage. But if you use it in its flail mode, instead of going down vertically, if you go horizontally, you can still do the same mace damage that you would if you went vertically. So that's kind of what we're going for here. Then its ranged ability is just you can throw wind charges. So where the axe has fire charges and the trident has lightning, the mace has wind charges. And that's basically all the prismatic weapons. Right, so that was all the prismatic weapon abilities for StuffyCraft Season 3. I don't know if the prismatic weapons will even be in Season 3. I am like 90% sure the Witherstorm will be in Season 3. I don't know about the prismatic weapons. I don't know about lifesteal. I'm only 100% certain that there will be a Season 3. So, yeah, that's kind of everything about the prismatic weapons in this video. I will do more previews on lifesteal, the Witherstorm, and another prismatic weapon video. So definitely subscribe to this channel. This is only my second channel where I post extra content. Definitely check out the main channel where StuffyCraft Season 3 will air. Thank you and goodbye.